How you doing, YouTube family? Today is Saturday, May the 31st, 2025. It's your man Big D, and I'm back with another one. I want to thank all you good folk out there in YouTube land for continuing to rock out with my son and I. We appreciate you. Thank you. Well, family, I'm back with part two of this Piers Morgan interview of Suge Knight. And I don't know about you, but I'm finding out a lot of interesting things. And I mean, it even goes a little bit deeper than what he spoke on in the part one video. But let's go on ahead and dive back in.
Puffy beat up a girl named Capricorn. Beat the shit out of her. Jimmy Iovine, one of Puffy guys, and Puffy approached Capricorn. And Jimmy told Capricorn, "You're going to take this money and you're going to shut your mouth and leave it alone. And I'm going to give you $1 million." Puffy didn't give Capricorn $1 million. Jimmy Iovine gave Capricorn a check from Interscope. And Universal should be ashamed of their fucking self that this big old publicly traded company will allow Interscope to give this girl $1 million check.
And this woman,
rapper, not a singer,
just to
not
be
a
clear,
producer.
just to be clear, Capricorn Clark, she's actually been giving evidence in the case. She was your former assistant, and she.
No, she wasn't my assistant, but she did hang around Death Row. She was Puffy's assistant after she hung around Death Row. But what I'm trying to say is,
she worked for Death Row.
Jimmy gave her that $1 million check. She got mad because she thought that's a settlement check, and the settlement check, you don't supposed to take taxes out of it. So when they told her she had to pay taxes on it, she get pissed. But I feel bad for Capricorn, not because she's just lying, but I feel bad for Capricorn on the simple fact she went through a lot. But the other part about all this, if you're not going to say nothing to Jimmy and Interscope for doing something illegal, why would you just put Puffy in prison? The other thing is that, do Puffy do weird stuff? If Puffy got on the stand and told the truth, I know he'll walk. If he got on the stand and say, "Look, I'm gay and straight. I mess with guys. I mess with women. I do it all." Puffy not guilty for the things he did to these people. He's guilty for being a cold, freaky man that want freaky things done to him. But in the Cassie situation, they could not say he was having sex with the man also, because that'll make him like it's an orgy. It won't be like sex trafficking. It won't be like forcing stuff to do. But at the end of the day, there's no way Puffy should go to prison for the rest of his life. He should have. I think that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Suge, you talked about Capricorn Clark, that he beat her very badly. He beat Cassie Ventura very badly. He was clearly very violent towards women. That's not a nice man, somebody who does that, clearly. But what you're saying is you don't.
My point is this. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's like this. I'm not saying Puffy not guilty on majority stuff. He should go to, and he done, right? Because even if he went to prison, it'd probably be a better thing. He'd probably be more happy in prison than in the streets. Because at least in prison, he can get all the baby oil he wants. He can have all the men he wants, anyway, anyhow, and all day and all night. But what I'm trying to say is that some of the things, the charges is not true. But I know they're not going to let Puffy go to prison. You know Puffy not going to go to prison. They been knew that Puffy was beating these women. They been knew what Puffy was doing with these men. They been knew. I told people before that in Hollywood, and by the way, they never tried it with me. In Hollywood, we go out there with Andre Young, we go out there with Puffy, we go out with any of these people that used to be in that building. They go talk to Jimmy and all these other guys. Russell Simmons, Andre Arell, they had the thing where they take a hard-boiled egg, and it sounds nasty, but if the egg can go in these guys' rectum and it don't bust, they think they're doing a great job. And if you look at the pictures, you'll see Puffy and another actor. The guy was married to Katy Perry. After I said this, people start finding pictures of these guys holding up the hard-boiled egg. Only thing I'm saying is, the bottom line is this. That because Suge Knight don't wear a shiny suit and dance in the videos, I'm in prison illegally. I'm kidnapped. If it was anyone else, they'd give me a warrant and I'd be free. But since that is the other way around, they can get Puffy telling people they want to kill me. They can say they come in with guns to kill me. They can say they come in and do this. They can have a people who shot me in One Oak do songs about shooting me. If you look at those people, who is those people in bed with? That's the question. It comes back to Puffy. If the FBI can tell me that they're trying to kill me, if authorities can say they're trying to kill me, and I've been shot different occasions, and the very first time that they try to kill me, and I get away, and somebody happens to die, and I get to go to prison, when you really look at it, Puffy didn't have sex with too many higher up people in the industry. Now, I'm not talking about women that get convicted. That's what I believe.
You're talking about senior male record company executives.
Exactly.
Extraordinary. Let me just finish, Suge, by asking you this. You were there when one of the all-time most famous music icons was killed. You were sitting next to him. What was the last thing that Tupac said to you?
Well, the crazy thing about it, nobody followed us, nobody came, nobody come to help. And as we sitting there, I looking at him, he looking at me. I said, man, look, we ain't gonna go straight ahead this way to the hospital. I'm gonna do a U-turn, and we gonna go to the hospital off of Las Vegas Boulevard. He said, why? I said, because it's more lights and more people. And he said, well, let me drive. I said, I'm driving. He said, man, you bleeding all through your head. You can't see, I can see. And we was listening to oldies at first, but on the way towards the strip, he put in a song that says he did it about me. And I said, I did, you know, that's me talking about you. The song was, you ain't never had a friend like me. I take your collect calls, you get shot at the last Hennessy. And as we riding down Las Vegas Boulevard, the police ran us off the divider and fucked the tires up and pulled guns on us and was talking about killing us. So I always think about that. For a long time, I wasn't able to listen to Tupac's music because it put me in a place of anger, rage. And my mother, who passed away when I was in county jail, always told me God loves me. And I know I'm not perfect, and I take accountability of everything I do. And I listen to my mother to try to make myself better, to improve myself. And I'm going to say this, and it's very important I say this because it's true. Some people can't be helped. There's a guy named Reggie Wright Jr., and I say this guy's name a lot because he keeps lying all over the internet about Tupac, and he know what he did. So when I knew that he was trying to kill himself because he can't walk and he got to wear steamy shoes to make himself better, he got a great mother. I even know his father. So when everybody was laughing and said he wanted to commit suicide, I called him to give me some encouragement. He goes and take that to be negative and try to bring down everyone, mainly because he hates Tupac. if anybody had a lot of involvement of the Tupac situation, I know Perk Bud had his hands in it. I know the fact that people can get a show and call it Bomb First behind Tupac's fame in his songs. And every person they bring on that show talks bad about Tupac. Talking about he was raped, he was a punk, he was scary, he was stupid. All these things are definitely not true. This person involvement of assassination of Tupac Shakur. I do know one thing. Crooked cops destroyed hip hop. When I talked to Tupac and I said, look, man, you and Biggie need to do an album together on Death Row, of course. We can make it 4 CDs in one package. Reason why I said that, I was in the hotel room, me and Tupac. All the bitches was, in the bedroom, in the living room, the penthouse talking. And he was on the phone with Biggie. When they having their conversation, I didn't see enemies. I seen that Tupac was hurt because he loved Biggie. And I knew Biggie loved Tupac. The reason we bothered Tupac so much about Biggie because he felt Biggie set him up when he got shot in the studio in New York. And that's all he wanted to say. But Biggie, I used to beg a bitch to let you sleep on the couch. Biggie, I always held you down. You my brother. At least you was my brother. And then now he put the Biggie on speaker. And you can see Biggie telling Pac, I would have never set you up and, get shot. That wasn't me. And then to the point where, to one point, he sort of threw Puffy in the bus. And the reason why I say sort of, because he said, Pac, you my man. He said, that's more like well, he said, I ain't going to say all that. Basically, I wouldn't have did that to you. And I could see Tupac was relieved, but he's still angry at the fact he felt that Biggie didn't do nothing to stop it. So me being a businessman, me being an older brother to Tupac, I said, man, seeing you got your answers. I said, I could tell you down about the situation. He said, man, you know what? He said, Biggie's my brother, man, but I hate the motherfucker, but sometimes I love the motherfucker. And he had that old Tupac laugh and do a grin about it. Had a big grin. But I'm going to say this before I go. Ted Carter was a friend of mine who happened to pass away by accident that I'm in it for. And to the point where his family was suing me. I told David Kenner, he related to the lawyer representative named Lance, that I would give the Carters, the wife and the 2 daughters, $2 million apiece. I was prepared to get them $6 million. They was going back and forth to get it done. Attorney Jasmine Mine got involved and then they helped get the situation for Kenner. But I felt bad because they said, we don't got to give them that. They dumb. We're going to give them less than that because they dumb. Lance made me angry because he told Kenner and them that Lydia Carter is a drunk. But who wouldn't be a drunk? You lose your husband. She said she's a drunk alcoholic and her breath smells like shit. Her breath always stinks. That pissed me off. But more importantly, Lance sold the Carters out. I knew one thing. Once Attorney Jasmine Mines got involved, and she being a woman, I knew that was going to change the whole Not that she's not smart, but it's going to change the whole look of the case. And then when you look at the thing in court, in the settlement, the last day in court, you got Lydia Carter and the two daughters sitting on one side. You got David Kenner, attorney Jasmine Mine, and you got Lance sitting next to Jasmine on my side.
Crazy stuff.
The Carters and saying that he sold them out because he rather sit next to a pretty girl.
Crazy stuff. Suge Knight, we've run out of time, unfortunately. It's been fascinating to talking to you on Uncensored.
Well, family, that was the end of the interview. But what do you think? Very informative, very interesting. But I took a couple of things away from this. The first thing is that we as black folks have been doing this to each other since the beginning of time. Some way, somehow, we have been pitted against each other to the point that none of us want to see any of us succeed. And what I mean by that is this: yeah, if it's somebody, even brothers don't want to see brothers successful. Sometimes friends don't want to see friends successful. So black folks have always had this jealousy inside of them. The next thing is overindulgence. Always got to have more, more, more. Can't be modest. As long as everybody eating, then we should be good. No, we done got to the point where it, only a couple of us can eat, and everybody else just, oh well, fuck them. So, in looking at everything that Suge Knight had to say and listening to it, man, black folks, we've been doing dumbass ish like this, stabbing each other in the back, uh, just doing, instead of banding together, trying to kill each other, killing each other. Man, listen, I don't know if it's ever going to change, if we can ever change as a community. I don't, it's just crazy to sit and hear this man talk and understand that if this is not a basically an eye opener, I don't know what is. There are people in high places pulling strings, and everybody knows it. But what are we gonna do about it? If not, this whole repetitive cycle of viciousness, just being over aggressive, over angry, over masculine, just just overboard. Man, we as a people, we gotta get it together, and we have some way somehow gotta understand that we are not our own worst enemy. Man, whatever happened to the saying, "I'm my brother's keeper"? It seems like over the years that concept has come and gone. But it is unfortunate that we had two brothers, Tupac and Biggie. No doubt in my mind, if they were still alive today, they will be making good music. And I'm talking about good music. I'm not saying we don't have a couple of decent artists, but with this whole new generation and the music and the shit they talking about, it's just some of it's just a bit much for us older people, us people that can remember the days of Pac and Biggie and whatnot. So it's a shame that we lost two bright young stars, man. It's just, to what? Why? Well, family, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it was informative for you. And always remember, be more tomorrow than you were yesterday.